Now, we're going to run through some of the craziest and most unhinged woke tweets of the week. Buckle up and brace yourself, because some of these are real doozies. Up first, one person wrote, "When white people are talking about good old days, they are telling you that they miss apartheid." Some of us might just mean back when eggs and bread were affordable, like a few years ago. Some people might even mean the 80s or the 90s or even the early aughts, none of which had apartheid. I don't know about y'all, but I just have not met a white person who waxes poetic about the good old days of segregation. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's probably not a correct assessment of what most white people mean when they say something like that. But buckle up and keep on board in the Delulu train with me today, guys, because this next post from left-wing trans activist Alejandro Caraballo reads, "If we're still allowed to vote in 2028, excuse me, what? These people are so hysterical. I will crawl through broken glass to vote, volunteer, and donate to any Dem who promises to throw all the oligarchs in prison. $1,000 donations for every time they say they'll lock up Elon Musk. Max donations for every time they say they'll send every single one of these whiny little shits to Guantanamo. Zuck, Musk, Bezos, Andreessen, Thiel, Altman, all of them. I don't care. I'm for destroying the oligarchy by any means necessary platform." That's a lot to unpack. First off, babe, you must be quite wealthy, okay? As you would put it, the privilege is off the charts, because if you can just be throwing around $1,000 like this, you get 1,000, you get 1,000, you get 1,000, times must be pretty good in trans activist land, okay? And it's so funny to me how a person like this somehow sees themselves as a savior of democracy, but also wants to lock up all the bad people they don't like. The math there is not mathing, cupcake. And I didn't realize that progressives supported Guantanamo Bay now. I think most don't, but apparently this Delulu one does. It's like, yeah, I'm against torture. I'm a card-carrying member of the ACLU. Except for those rich people, throw them in Guantanamo. You might actually be a hypocrite and a fraud. Up next, this tweet from left-wing commentator Crystal Ball, where she simply wrote, "Democracy and capitalism are incompatible," in response to a news story about how Jeff Bezos can legally give the Trumps $40 million. So what's funny about this take is that it's actually kind of the opposite of reality. When you look at, and I'll put a graph on screen, when you look at how democratic a society is and then how free their economy is in terms of how capitalistic, how free market, these two have a positive correlation, meaning that freer countries with freer economies are more democratic, and countries with more government-controlled, more socialist economies tend to have less democracy and more authoritarianism. There's a very clear trend here going in one direction, though you can find outlier cases in either case. And the reason that is that in a free market capitalist economy, the means of production and people's income isn't controlled by the government. But in a left-wing socialistic system with a massively powerful government that controls the economy, it's a lot easier for them to repress people or violate democratic norms or establish themselves as authoritarians because they control people's livelihoods. Cute tweet though, this next post was incredibly creepy. "If you're a cis man, one of the best things you can do for trans women is using the women's bathroom. If cis men were to cultivate a complete disregard for the bathroom stall sign, that avenue of gendered segregation in public life would become increasingly hard to enforce." I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that full-grown men going into the women's bathroom is a bad idea. And I'm also gonna add that while I think genuinely transsexual people who've transitioned should be accommodated and allowed to live their best lives and blend in, some degree of gendered segregation in society between men and women, broadly speaking, is not a bad thing. Up next, this tweet reads, "The way men all seem to automatically know how to access the dark web has always been slightly unsettling to me." I'm sorry, but what kind of men do you talk to? What kind of men do you hang out with? I have never accessed the dark web. I wouldn't begin to know how. And I don't think I know anyone who would. So much of the like gender discourse on the internet is just from people who seem to have like extremely skewed perceptions of populations. Like maybe they have very strange crowds they run in or whatever. This next tweet is a good one. The original post asks, what opinion would you defend until your last breath? And this person said, white people are the cause of every problem we have in the world. Bruh. It's giving woke Hitler. Now, this one actually relates to something we talked about on the podcast maybe last week. The news story shared here is about a Seattle waffle shop owner who shut down their business over the new $20 a plus minimum wage law, who cried every day. And some trans Twitter activists tweeted, another small business tyrant down. Oh? So small businesses are tyrannical now, too. It's not just the evil CEOs. Are any businesses allowed to exist in these people? Are they all evil and bad? I think we know the answer. They're probably like literal communists, but it's really quite something to see somebody's small business where they're already paying people like $17 plus an hour destroyed by progressive government policies and be like, yes, you're sick in the head, babe. Sick in the head. This next one is wild, and it comes to us from a sitting member of Congress, Pramila Jayapal. She tweeted an image of a McDonald's on fire in California with the caption, corporations got us into this mess, but even they can't escape the devastating reality of climate change. Bruh. Not a politician taking like a gloating victory lap over some small business owner. Guys, this is probably a franchisee having their business destroyed in a wildfire. Girl, what? Are you okay? And I'm sorry, but McDonald's is not responsible for the wildfires in California or for global warming. Like, that's not a thing. And the real causes of the LA fires are a lot more complicated than just climate change, okay? It has a lot more to do with environmental policies, with wildfire prevention policies, with water policies, with land policies. Spare me this cheap category of kind of sadistic tweeting from sitting US members of Congress. Christ. Oh my, this next one might be the most delusional of all. There was a post, Mark Zuckerberg removes transgender and non-binary themes from Meta's Messenger, is the story, to which somebody commented, Americans experience 6 months of high inflation and drag the whole world into fascism. Yeah, because if there aren't non-binary color schemes in Facebook Messenger, then that's fascism. There was a similar post over on Reddit where the story shared was Mark Zuckerberg orders removal of tampons from men's bathrooms at Meta offices. And one of the top comments was, so he's going all in with fascism? I don't think that word means what y'all think it means. Fascism is not when the men's bathroom doesn't have tampons in it. It's actually something else. And you might want to pick up a book. Guys, I don't think I can handle any more delusional posting in one sitting without incurring permanent brain damage. But please do let me know which one of these takes was the craziest of all of them. Vote in the comments. And do hit that like button while you're at it. Do make sure you're subscribed. And we'll talk again on Monday.